Good morning. We have a huge problem, not only in the United States, but in the world today. And it's about how do you make collective decisions? How do you make decisions as a government? And you have to recognize that all policy that we have is a decision. It's a collective decision for what to do, how to do it, how much it cost, what if you're going to make an agreement for commerce with another country, or what are the parameters of that agreement? These are all decisions. So all policy is a decision. And you have to ask yourself, well, how do we make these decisions? Today, we're making these decisions by appointing a political party and their leaders to make these decisions. So these decisions aren't being made collectively. They're being made in partisan decisions. These aren't collective decisions at all. So if we go all the way back to the Declaration of Independence, did they make a collective decision to declare their independence from the state of Great Britain? No. They each made that decision themselves. Yes, they all signed on to the document which was published to declare their independence, but they were declaring their independence as a free and independent state with the full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do, which are acts, all other acts and things that independent states may by right do. Okay, so they weren't declaring their independence as the United States of America, because there was no United States of America at that time. When did we become the United States of America? We became the United States of America when the states agreed to the Articles of Confederation to form the Union to act collectively as the Union. And they named the country the Union, the Confederation, in Article 1 of the Articles of Confederation. It says, the style of this confederacy shall be the United States of America. That's where they named the Union. And in Article 2 of that Articles of Confederation, it empowers the Union. By what? By the states participating collectively in what? Making the decisions of a free and independent state. Okay? The Union is the free and independent state. That's how our country was established. And what controlled how they made collective decisions. A democracy. Democracy is all the states participate as equals with equal suffrage to determine how the Union acts as a free and independent state. Acts as the free and independent state. And they chose a democracy where all the states are equal with equal suffrage. Didn't matter how the size of the state, the population, the wealth, nothing. They all were equal, from the biggest state, like Virginia, to the smallest state, like Rhode Island or Delaware. Didn't matter at all. They were equal in what? In determining how the states would act as the Union. And did this change with the Constitution of the United States? No. In fact, that same democracy, which is the states as equals with equal suffrage, is embodied in the Senate. And the Senate was designed and empowered with the power of concurrence over all laws and all treaties, which is how the Union acts, how the states act as the Union, okay? And that's still controlled by a majority consensus of all the states as equals, which is still a democracy. Does that change with the proportional representation in the House? No. The proportional representation in the House only normalized the states because we already said that they're not equal in their population and wealth. We already know that. There's huge disparity between the states in those areas, right? So in order to form the system and operate the system so that they'll have the system in place to determine how to act as the Union, that's what the bicameral legislature is all about. It normalizes the states so that they are assembled equally in the House and as equals in the Senate. So Congress is still an assembly of the states as equals with equal suffrage because their suffrage is equal even in the House. It's per capita equal. And it's equal in the Senate. Each state has one vote. And if you look at Article 5, it says no state shall be denied their equal suffrage in the Senate without their consent. How can they consent to not have their equal? They don't have both of their senators present. That's how they don't have their equal vote. Because if they don't have both of their senators present, then they will only have half their vote. And it's their responsibility to make sure both of their senators are present at all times. That's why it was put that way. And how do you form a quorum? Well, you still need a majority of the states in order to form a quorum. That means 26 states must be present to form a quorum in the House and in the Senate. In the House, a state is considered present even with one representative. Why? Because it's possible that a state may only have one representative in the House because of their population is less than 30,000. Okay? But in the Senate, you need both your senators present for the state to be counted as present to form a quorum. And that goes back to the Articles of Confederation too, where it was required that each state have between 2 and 7 representatives in their delegation. If they didn't have both of their two representatives in their delegation, they were not counted as present toward the quorum, which at that time you needed 9 of 13 states. Okay, it's the same way in the Senate today. You need 26 states with both of their senators to form a quorum in the Senate. If not, that state is not counted as being present. I don't care how many states only have one, those senators are not counted as that state being present. Only 26 states with both of their senators present can form a quorum. Now, yes, the states can still participate in Congress. They're just not counted toward the quorum. And then when it comes time to determine choices, then each state gets one vote. Period. It's not a majority of the senators. It's a majority of the states, as each state has one vote. That's what power of concurrence is all about. And that is a democracy. Every state has one vote to reach a majority consensus, a predetermined majority consensus. Some things they chose that they decided could be done by a majority, simple majority, which are more administrative decisions. But when you talk about how they act as a union, that takes 2/3 of the states to act as the union in the United States. That's what treaties are all about. Treaties are how we act and interact with foreign nations and entities. That's what this is all about. How do we determine these questions? They are determined in a democratic process. And yes, all Republican forms of government are democratic forms of government because they're based on the principles of the democratic principles of government, which is all must participate as equals with equal suffrage to reach a majority consensus of all that are assembled as the democracy or as the republic or whatever. All. That doesn't mean voters. Voters ain't all. In fact, right now, the voters aren't even, we don't even have a majority of the voters voting. Trump only got 22 or 23% of the people. And Harris got maybe 21, 20. That's only 42% or 43% of all the people. That ain't even a majority of the people participating, much less the majority consensus of the people. Yes, that matters in a democracy. In a democracy, all must participate as equals, and a majority consensus is necessary to the choice for all decisions that we make as the union. Thanks.